Hey, BJ, very basic Bible. We're going to look up the word leaven. We've looked it up several times in the Old Testament. I think we got to the last occurrence of the word. Going to try and find it in the New Testament. The word leaven, like seriously, is that an important word? Oh, we'll look up stuff. We'll look up the Old Testament usages. Share screen, and we'll see what we can see, so we can see that it's important to see. Something like that. All right. Here, let's change these Bible translations. Click here, NASB, ESV, NET, NABRE, NIV, CSB, NLT. Over here, got the same ones. Let's change them up. Change versions. Here we go. Go to the New King James because the old one's kind of got funny words in it. Let's hit up I think there was the Berean. Actually, there's one called Legacy. There we go. That looks good. It's a very brand new version. Pretty literal to my knowledge, or word for word, I should say. Legacy, I didn't say word for word, but I think it's word for word. Okay. All right. And here we're going to have the good old NRSV. Here's the Catholic one. So instead of the New American, we'll have the Catholic Standard. Thought for thought. That's okay. Which is fine. Thought for thought. NIV will change for the NIRV. It's a little different. Christian Standard Bible. We'll go for the Web World English Bible. World English Bible, they took a bunch of, to my knowledge, they took a bunch of English translations, kind of read through them, and decided, hey, this looks good, hey, this looks neat, and they just kind of talked to each other. I'm not sure if it was Scott. I think it was pastors and stuff such that did it. So that's kind of a neat perspective. And over here, we'll get this like the be easy to read version, BLI. I don't know what BLI means. I don't know, but it's an easy to read version. All right, now we got 7 over here, 7 over here. In case we come upon any really strange passages, what in the world does that mean? Bible Gateway, you want to type in that word? Okay, so the people took their dough. So leaven has to do with bread. We know this if you've watched the other leaven videos. With their kneading bowls, their dough before it was leavened. You put leaven in the dough, the bread is flat, and it goes poof, leavened. I believe that's how it works. And they're clothing their shoulders. Yep. Full chapter. Why are they putting leaven and stuff? And the Lord said, this month shall be the beginning of months for you. Speak to all the congregation of Israel on the 10th of this month. They're to take a lamb for themselves. This describes the Passover. Okay. Let's see. They shall eat it with unleavened bread. Do not eat any of the thing. You shall not leave. This is the way. Yeah, this is the way you shall eat it, with your garment belted around your waist, your sandals on your feet, your staff in your hand. You shall eat it in a hurry. In a hurry. It is the Lord's Passover. Okay. No leaven. Okay. Along with all this other stuff. No leaven. That's what we're looking at, right? Let's see. Feast of unleavened bread. Now this day, the day you eat the Passover, the day you eat the unleavened bread, the day you're going to bound up your staff, shall be a memorial to you. You shall celebrate as a feast to the Lord. So they do this thing once, specifically to get out of Egypt. They're trying to leave Egypt. Moses says, we're going to do this ritual. The next day, you're going to leave Egypt. Then, in subsequent years, they're going to repeat the ritual. Now, they're not going to repeat it. Okay, guys, let's make a trek back to Egypt. It's a memorial. It's symbolic, For 7 days, how are they going to memorialize this feast? For 7 days, you shall eat unleavened bread. But on the first day you shall remove dough with yeast or leaven from your houses. For whoever eats anything with yeast, leaven, from the first day until the seventh, that person shall be cut off from Israel. No good. Hey, get rid of, God said, don't look, he's telling us, Oh God, I didn't feel like it. Man, come on, dude. He wants you to remember stuff. You shall also keep the feast of unleavened bread, for on this day I brought you out of the multitudes. I brought your multitudes out of the land of Egypt. Okay, so you shall keep it throughout this day through your generations as a permanent ordinance. Permanent ordinance. Do it all the time. You shall eat nothing with yeast. In your dwellings you shall eat unleavened bread. Okay, so do it. All right, we can see the importance of the God's trying to remind, no leaven, get rid of the leaven. Okay, they wanted to leave Egypt in a hurry, so they're like, no leaven. So the bread, they fix bread, it doesn't rise. They fix bread, no leaven, they're able to leave in a hurry. So God wants them to remember, hey, you had to leave, and you had to leave in a hurry. All right, let's see. Exodus 23:18. Oh, now sacrifices. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, nor is the fat of my feast to remain overnight until morning. Okay. Exodus 34:25. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, nor is the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover to be left over until morning. Those two verses match each other, and they match the Passover feast. Okay. Because if we were to read the Passover feast closer, as we've done, God commanded them. I almost said demanded. He demanded them. I guess anyway. He commanded them to eat the whole goat and don't leave any of it until morning. So here, when you're doing the memorial in Exodus 23 and Exodus 30, he's explaining it again. When you do the memorial, don't leave any of it till morning. So he's repeating. In fact, so he's repeating it. 23. Look at this. 3 national feasts. 3 times you shall celebrate a feast to me. Shall keep the feast of unleavened bread. For 7 days you will eat unleavened bread, as I command you at the point of in the month of it. No, okay. You shall also keep the feast of harvest. Also the feast of ingathering, 3 times a year. Okay. 3 times a year. It's pretty important. They're going to meet in the feast 3 times a year. One of them is called the feast of unleavened bread. So leaven, unleavened. No. Okay, now Leviticus, basic instructions for priests. Okay, that's what Leviticus. Levi was of the priesthood line. God said, Levites are going to be mine, and I'm going to make them all the priests. Okay. The guy's name was Levi. We're not talking about Levi jeans. One of the 12 sons of Israel, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob / Israel, one of the 12 sons of Israel named Levi. God said, y'all are going to be the priest for me. Leviticus. I think Leviticus is Latin. I think. I'm not entirely sure. I think so. We could look it up, but we're looking for 11. Okay. Here we go. No grain offering which you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven. You shall not offer up in smoke any leaven. Don't be offering up no leaven or any honey. Whatever it is. So that's chapter 2. Chapter 6. It shall not be baked with leaven. I have given it as their share for my offerings by fire. It is most by fire. Look at this. Shall not offer up in smoke any leaven. So it shall not be baked with leaven. Okay. But then we run into a problem down here. With the sacrifice of his peace offerings for Thanksgiving, he shall present his offering with cakes of leavened bread. Wait. No leaven here. No leaven there. Leaven? Look down here. I remember this is the last 2 videos on leaven, I believe we did. I was confused. This is very basic Bible. I am studying, walking you through it. You shall bring in from your dwelling places 2 loaves of bread as a wave offering, made of 2/10 of an ephah of flour, I'm guessing. They shall be of a fine. So you shall bring for your dwelling place 2 loaves of bread as a wave offering. You don't burn a wave offering. Sometimes they call it a heave offering. I guess it's like, I've seen pictures in little Bibles. A priest says the heave offering, and he's like holding it. You don't actually burn it, the wave offering. Or somebody say you have grains and you wave them in front of the altar. The altar is hot. You put the stuff on it, it burns it up. Okay, it's a burnt offering. Now for a wave offering, you don't put the stuff on the altar. You hold it and you wave it. I guess you don't burn it up. Right down here, baked with leaven as the first fruits of the Lord, wave offering. You don't burn the leaven. Up here, leaven is burned. Down here, it's not burned. So I guess it's an extra offering from what I remember. Got the 2 videos before this. Go through that. Let's look at that real quick, just to refresh my memory. Been like a few months since I looked at this leaven thing. Control F, leaven. Now, when you bring an offering of grain, when you bring an offering of a grain offering, when you bring an offering of a grain offering, we are in the New American Standard Bible. Okay, Leviticus 2:4. Let's look at that. Leviticus 2. If y'all can hear banging and booming, the trash man is outside dumping our trash. It's very loud. Okay, but maybe they hadn't eaten any leaven. Bible jokes aren't funny at all usually. All right. Okay. When anyone brings a grain, where is it at? Okay. NASB. Now, when you bring an offering of a grain offering baked in an oven, an offering of a grain offering baked, that makes it sound like you've got a grain offering. Okay. A grain offering baked in an oven. So you have a grain offering that you baked in an oven, but you bring an offering of the offering. What? It's like, hey, I made $20 today. I'm going to put 15 of it in an offering plate. Okay. So you take 15, you put in an offering plate. Wait. I'm going to take 5. So I've got $5 in my pocket, right? Yay, I get to go to McDonald's and buy me a burger. All right. So out of my $20, 15 in the offering plate. Wait, I'm going to take 3 of those dollars from the offering plate. So now there's only 12, and I'm going to give those to a special church fund. An offering of $3 offering from the offering. I don't know. Let's see. All right. That's the NASB. Very literal. Okay. ESV. When you bring a grain offering baked in the oven as an offering. Okay. When you bring an offering baked in the oven, when you bring a grain offering, when you present an offering of grain baked in an oven, it must be made. Oh, that they skipped the whole thing. When you offer a grain offering baked in an oven, if you bring a grain offering baked in an oven, when you present a grain offering baked in an oven, it is to be made of fine flour, either unleavened, okay, or unleavened wafers. So there's the unleavened. If your offering is a grain offering baked in oven, okay, I guess the NASB is kind of strange there. Let's look. Leviticus 2. Leviticus. All right. You can get, if you bring it off as an offering, a grain offering baked in the oven, it shall be unleavened. Okay. Now, when you bring near an offering of a grain offering, Legacy Standard Bible. Now, when you bring near an offering of a grain offering, so that's like the NASB. Now, when you bring an offering of a grain offering baked in an oven. When you present a grain offering baked in the oven. When you present a grain offering baked in an oven. If you give a grain offering that was baked in the oven. When you offer an offering of a meal offering baked in the oven. Okay, grain offering, meal offering. Corn meal is made of corn. Grain meal made of grain, I guess. On a meal. What version is that? The web. Okay. I told you the WEB, World English Bible, kind of strange. So if you're okay. I think we got, I'm assuming that a very literal wooden translation would be an offering of an offering, but I'm assuming it means what the rest of them say. I'm assuming offering of an offering just means when you present a grain offering baked in an oven. When you bring an offering baked in an oven, offering in an oven, when you're trying to translate from an ancient language, from any language to any other language, there's going to be strange things happen. So like, let's translate this as word for word as possible. The words would be all out of English order. So, because different languages have different grammar. So, so here they're trying to keep it, I think, the LSB and the NASB as close as possible. Hey, let's do something kind of fun. Yeah. Here we go. There's an NASB like 1970. Oh, they don't have the 70 version, but they got the 1995 version. Leviticus 2. All right. I'm going to look up NASB 1970, 77. Okay, 77 online. Here we go. Bible Hub. Okay. Bible Hub's a pretty good Bible website, but I remember using it. There's a lot of stuff I couldn't really figure out. But I emailed the guy and said, hey, whenever I click this happens. And the person emailed me back and said, oh, I'm very sorry. Please forgive me. The website, I want to update this. I want to update that. I've known about this problem, but not that problem. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Please continue to bring it to my attention. We're trying to work on it. And I was like, oh, okay. Thank you, sir. But hey, so if you go on Bible Hub, if you like that one, you go there and you're like, there's a problem. You email them. The guy got back with me. Maybe he'll get back with you. Maybe it'll help him change and fix it. All right. Genesis 1. Let's go to Genesis. How do you get to right there? I'm afraid to type it in here because what if it doesn't? And it has to be 77. We'll just, okay, online Bible. But am I in the NASB 77 anymore? This is some pretty basic Bible stuff. I'm like, BJ, get to teaching the Bible. I'm trying. There's Leviticus 77. Okay. I'm going to try something. Leviticus 2. Let's see. Oh, yeah, ASV. It changed. And if I go to right there, NASB, it'll probably be the NASB 2020. And I want the NASB 1977. All right. Let's go back. Okay, Leviticus 1. No, I threw Leviticus numbers. All right. 1977. Okay, now the NASB, the Lockman Foundation. So the same publisher. You know, you got Zondervan, you got Harper Collins, the Methodist Church, we got Cokesbury. Those are the people who publish the books. The Lockman Foundation publishes the Bible. Okay. So it's the same people. Is it the same exact translators, the same scholars? Maybe, maybe not. But they want the NASB to stay literal. They want it to be what they call, quote, woodenly literal, or they call it clunky. They're trying to keep it very close to the original Hebrew. Like I say, when you translate into English, you get a little mixed up, but they're trying to keep it close. So I'm going to, 1 second, guys. Translation stuff. There we go. Oh, memorial. Could I put that? All right. Those are my notes. Sorry, so quiet there. I guess you could hear me. I had to buy a new keyboard last year. I keep banging on the keyboard that way. What if you put 1,000 monkeys on typewriters? Would they eventually type the whole works of Shakespeare? The whole Bible? That's a weird thing that philosophers talk about. If you have monkeys typing on a typewriter, what? Philosophers? Yeah. Okay. Now, so we got the NESB from 77. We're going to look at how they change it. If they do in 1995, then we're going to look at how they change it if they do in 2020. All right. Let's see. Now, when you bring an offering, the LSB over here, Legacy Standard Bible, this is the first one. So we can't compare it to older translations. So, okay. But we can do it the NASB. All right. Now, when you bring in, Leviticus 2, verse 4. Okay. Now, when you bring an offering of grain offering baked in an oven. When you bring an offering of a grain offering baked in an oven. I left out the A the first time I read it. Now, when you bring an offering of a grain offering baked in an oven. Okay. 1995. Now, when you bring an offering of a grain offering baked in an oven. Now, when you bring an offering of a grain offering. Now, when you bring an offering of a grain offering. Okay. Now, when you bring an offering of a grain offering baked in an oven. They were like, hey, we are sticking with this. The NASB was like, we'll change some things that we've learned because as time goes on, you learn better how to translate stuff, right? You get smarter. The people get smarter. The people understand more. You get more translation copies. You get more old copies of the Bible. You find more. Also, you just learn more rules of grammar. You go, hey, wait, we're discovering these little things here and we're tweaking it. Math, 2 + 2 = 4 all the time. But if I asked you to describe to me a rock, and then in 3 years, I asked you to describe it to me some more, and then we asked a person who's a geology nerd to describe it to me, and then the geology nerd studied it for 5 years, and then they described it again, we would find out more and more about the rock each time. God is our rock. Yeah. And I'm into geology. I kind of like it. So that's the same with translations. I read it and I'm like, I have no idea. So then I look up a few other translations, still have no idea. So then I go look at what scholars say. Then the scholars study it. Okay, it looks like after many years of studying the NASB, they're like, nope, that's the best translation. An offering of an offering. Okay. All right. All that was brought to you by your daily, very basic Bible daily dose of translation stuff. All right. Back to leaven. Here we go. Leaven. If your offering is a grain offering made on the griddle, it must be choice wheat flour mixed with oil, unleavened. Because if it's on the griddle, you got it fried on a griddle. Let's see a griddle. That all says griddle. A griddle it's like a tennis racket, but it's metal, I'm guessing. Like you take a tennis racket, you put a slab of beef on it, you take a metal tennis racket, the whole thing's metal. Put a back rack of beef on it and you can set it over the fire. But hey, it's being burned, so no leaven, I'm guessing. You shall break it crumble it in pieces and pour. Okay, so it's been cooked on a griddle, break it in pieces, pour olive oil. Okay. If your offering is a grain offering made in a pan, so know what a pan is. Most people, it must be made of choice wheat flour. Well, it doesn't say no. Put it into the Lord. Doesn't say no leaven, but I'm assuming. Look at that. Is a memorial portion and offer it up in smoke. I'm assuming no leaven. All right. No grain offering which you present to the Lord can be made with yeast. For you must not offer up in smoke. Okay. But then we had, what happened? Oh, here. Wait. There we go. That's better, huh? Excuse me. Then we had Leviticus 6, full chapter 6:17. Now this is the law of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron shall present it before the Lord in front of the altar. They're going to present the grain offering before the Lord in front of the altar. They're going to stand in the altar. They're going to go, hey, Lord, this is for you. They got a grain offering. Okay, somebody brought them some stuff made out of wheat or barley, out of grains. Brought them either some raw grain or some bread. Let's see. One of the priests shall lift up from it a handful of fine flour. Okay, so they haven't cooked it yet. It's still just the ingredients of the grain offering. A handful of fine flour of the grain offering with its oil and all the incense that is on the grain offering. He shall offer it. He shall offer what? Lift up a handful from it. He shall offer the handful up in smoke on the altar. I'm going to assume no leaven. Okay, it just said fine flour with the oil and frankincense. I'm going to assume there's no leaven in this recipe. I offer smoke, soothing aroma as its memorial offering to the Lord, because you want to remember God. Oh, we remember you, God. Here's your portion. And Aaron and his sons are to eat what is left of it. It shall be eaten as unleavened cakes in a holy place. So they haven't cooked it yet. Evidently, the priest got to, after they offer up the flour, evidently they got to go cook it, and then they get to eat it. Because it wouldn't be a cake. Otherwise, they would say, you shall eat it as unleavened flour or something. Why would it have to say unleavened? Then you shall eat the flour mixed with oil and incense. Just sorry, my Leviticus. No, there's no leaven, but it is just all right. It shall not be baked with leaven. Okay, so priest, don't bake it with leaven. Israelites, when you bring it to the priests, just flour, oil, and incense. No leaven. And they knew that. Why didn't they tell them here in Leviticus? Because they'd already, Moses told them in Exodus, right? They told them earlier in Leviticus. Now, it's not that these are necessarily chronological order, but you do read it. This is a priestly manual. Leviticus is kind of like a priestly manual. You do read it from beginning to end. I'm guessing they expect you to already know it. And his sons eat with unleavened cakes in the holy place, and I'm baked with leaven. I have given it as their share from my offerings by fire. So God says, hey, y'all give me the offering. Then my offerings made by fire, I give it an offering to Aaron and his sons. So we bring it to Aaron. It's all for God. Aaron puts a handful on the altar, and God says, you, Aaron, can keep the rest and eat it. I mean, the Levites got to eat something. God is not going to be like, give me everything. Nope, you don't get to eat any food. You have to give it all to me. Then the people would die. God doesn't want people dying like that. That'd be silly. God takes care of us, obviously. Every male among Aaron, the sons of Aaron, may eat it. It is a permanent ordinance throughout your generations from the offerings by fire. So a permanent ordinance. This is a good Bible thing, okay? We'll read this. It is a permanent ordinance. Automatically, people go, wait. If it's a permanent, why aren't we doing it today? Is there somewhere in the New Testament that tells us to keep doing it? I'm sure the New Testament won't say don't do it anymore. A permanent ordinance. Okay. Let's think about this. People will read that sometimes. They go, permanent ordinance, period, no matter what. What's the context? What's the surrounding story or the surrounding instructions, the surrounding commands? What are the commands? The commands right now are Aaron and his sons presenting, the Israelites presenting a grain offering to God. Aaron and his priestly sons, the priest taking it, they give a handful to God, right? I would assume that it is a permanent ordinance is when you are doing these sacrifices, it is a permanent ordinance to not be given any leaven and 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 Aaron's sons may eat it. That's what it is. Every male among Aaron's sons may eat it. Okay. It is a permanent ordinance throughout your generations from the offerings by fire to the Lord. Okay. The New Testament, Jesus died for our sins, right? Yeah. One sacrifice for them all is what it says in the book of Hebrews. The sacrifice to end all sacrifice, so we don't sacrifice stuff anymore. So, hey, if we were to offer up stuff sacrificed by fire, maybe it is a permanent ordinance. But since we don't offer sacrifices up by fire anymore, okay, there we go. Some people get kind of weird when they see stuff like that. Oh, no. So just remember, very basic Bible. You read the word, then you look at the surrounding context. You use your brain. We had to look at the whole Bible. I talked about the book of Hebrews, right? No more sacrifices, right? So we're not going to go look in the book of Hebrews. That would take forever. All right. What could I write down? I'm just going to write down permanent for right now in context. And later, I'll change that. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. All right, here. I think I said it too. All right, here we go. All right, now we want to look at a place where it says, we haven't been able to offer any leaven so far, but here, with the sacrifice of his peace offerings, up here they were called burnt offerings. Now, sacrifice of his peace offerings for Thanksgiving. A peace offering for Thanksgiving. Okay. Control F. Leaven. Okay, there we go. Now, this is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which shall be presented to the Lord. Now, up here, look at this. The priest who makes atonement with it shall have it. Also, the priest who presents anyone's burnt offering, the priest shall have for himself the hide of the burnt offering, which is present. Okay, so a burnt offering. He gets some of the burnt offering. Likewise, every grain offering that's baked in the oven and everything prepared on a pan or a griddle shall belong to the priest who presents it. But hey, no leaven. Okay. Every grain offering mixed with oil or dry, not mixed with leaven, belong to the sons of Aaron, to all alike. Okay. That we've already read all that. It's like, yeah, we're repeating ourselves, but we're not repeating every little last instruction. So you see, it's getting a little less detailed. Okay. The Bible is super duper detailed, but it gets a little less as it goes on. And that's good because, I mean, hey, we've already read that part. Now, this is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which shall be presented to the Lord. If he offers it by way of thanksgiving, then let's read over here. It's Leviticus 7, whatever, 7:12. Okay. Oh, closed it. Right here. Move the tab over there. Okay, good. So we got our NASB, NAB, NIV, and here we got the NKJV, LSB. Okay, good. Leviticus 7. Go. Leviticus 7. Go. All right. It was like 7:11. Let's see. Now, no, okay. This is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which he shall offer to the Lord. Now, this is the law of sacrifice of the peace offerings, which shall be brought near to Yahweh. Yep. LORD in all caps means Yahweh. You can see over here, the WEB, Yahweh. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Okay, we'll read the LSB. If he brings it, the sacrifice of peace offerings, near for Thanksgiving, That's the NRSVP. If you offer it for Thanksgiving, if you offer it, the sacrifice of the offering of well-being, here, peace offerings of the offering of well-being. Okay. The law of the fellowship sacrifice. Why are they doing this to us? Why? Like friendship offerings. Oh, hey, peace offerings. Sacrifice of fellowship offerings. Okay, so we got two that match right here, right there, and right there. Wait, that says CSB. This should not be the CSB. This should be the. That's what Catholic Public Domain version. How did I hit the Christian Standard Bible earlier? I wonder. Oh, say it now. Let's see what the CPD. This is the law of the victim of peace offerings. The victim. Oh, I guess this is the ritual. Now this is the law of the victim. I like the NREV here. Here are some more rules for friendship offerings. Okay. So we got friendship offerings, fellowship offerings, peace offerings. Suppose they offer a friendship offering to show how they are thankful. Over here, people can bring fellowship offerings to show their thanks to God. Let's look over here at some of the. Okay, the animal sacrifice of the guilt offering must be. Oh, 11. All right. These are the instructions regarding the different kinds of peace offerings. Different kinds. Peace, fellowship sacrifice, fellowship offering, communion sacrifice. Catholics have communion. Communion, you all come together. Peace offering, sacrifice of peace offerings. Elias, of the peace offering sacrifice, of the sacrifice of peace offerings. It's like read in different translations. It'll help you understand better, or it'll just confuse you. Well, it's not. I mean, it actually is helping bring more clarity. But what most people do is they're like, read it in several translations. And when they do, they read them one at a time. See, we have them right next to each other here. Right next to each other. And we're looking from this one to this one. And then we're going, law of the sacrifice of peace offerings, law of the peace offering sacrifice. Wait, law of the peace, law of the sacrifice of peace, peace offering sacrifice. Okay, so we're like, what does that mean? I'm not sure. It's confusing. But since we got them right, at least we're like, well, here's what most people would do. Okay. They would read it here. Okay. Let's go to another one. They would click it, read it in another one. It would look a little different. They would read it in the third one. It would look a little different. They'd go, wait a minute, that's different. Oh my gosh, I'm confused. I can't do this. They would throw up their hands. Don't throw up your hands. Don't throw them up. Blah. And don't throw them up. Went to a recycle place the other day for my church. I brought some old paint. The guy was like, he handed me a flyer. He goes, okay, sir, let me explain something. You got to have an appointment. Here's the flyer. We've been hitting flyers for 2.5 years. This has been our policy for 2.5 years. We got them everywhere. We've got it announced everywhere, all over our website. He said, but I'm going to help you out. And I went 2.5 years. And he goes, sir. And I did like this. And he goes, sir, no need to throw up your hands. I told you I was going to help you out. Now let me explain to you. We have this thing. No need to throw up your hands. I'm going to help you out. It was so funny. I told my wife later, no need to throw up your hands. And she goes, you do act dramatic all the time. I was like, oh, and then I did it. And she's like, see, throw up your hand. I don't know. Okay. Look, you're reading in different translations. Okay. And we look like only at the LSB, and we go sacrifice of peace offerings. Then we look at a completely different one way over here, some more rules for friendship offerings. Wait, is that the same verse? I don't know. Let me go look back at over here. LSB, Okay, now we're looking over here. Wait, is that the same one? Now let's look over here. Oh, that's a little, I'm not sure. Hey, let's look at a third one on a completely different page. This is the ritual for the communion. What? They're all different. Why are they so different? Oh my gosh, Very basic Bible studying will take a while. Remember, YouTube. We're going to look at this real quick. You get to see some of my YouTube stuff. Okay, actually, it'll take a while. YouTube does that. But remember what I've said about very basic Bible. Right there. Okay, you can see I like to watch action movie clips. I like to watch sports highlights, not because I'm into sports teams. I just like watching sports highlights, and then you see the Bible, Christian Bible stuff. And the police. My wife likes old music. All right, your channel. Remember, when you read very basic Bible, is not being, okay, here we go. Right here. By basic, I mean, okay, what do I mean? Rudimentary principles, teaching in a simple way. Am I teaching in a simple way? You're like, BJ, you're confusing me. I am being very meticulous. I'm trying to go slow with it. I try to go like in a very simple way. This is the law of the peace. This is the law. But look over on the NAS, in this one. This is the ritual. In one version, they call it law, and one they call it ritual. You see, I'm trying to be simple that way. Some people will be like, that's actually not as simple. No, okay. Simple doesn't necessarily mean easy to understand. Okay. Simplified means we break it down. I am breaking it down. This is the law. And this is the law. And, okay, so they put an and. Now, this is the law. Why do they put the now and the and in the more literal versions? Probably because there is some Hebrew word or Hebrew grammar. This is just a guess. Probably some Hebrew word or grammar that in the literal version, they think they should put a word there, a transition word. So we were doing this. Okay, now something different. Now this is the law. That's my guess. Over here in the CSB, they got the word now because they want to show that something. I'm trying to be simple, okay? Rudimentary principles, teaching in a simple way. All the stuff before the theology. We did get to, we was like the book of Hebrews, Jesus sacrificed, once for all sacrifice. Some people will disagree with that reading of the book of Hebrews. That's why I didn't really want to go into it. All the stuff before the sacrifice. But the permanent ordinance thing, okay, it was a permanent ordinance within that sacrifice. That's my assumption. What do I not mean by very basic? What do I mean? What I do not mean? Only a little information. Skimming, surface level. See, most people think simple as surface level. Most people think skimming as making it easy to understand. It's easy to understand because you've dissected it and studied it, not because I only gave you a little information. Okay? It's very basic. It's not very little information about the Bible. I got no degrees and I'm nobody special. I like exploring in video games. I'm cynical, but ultimately hopeful. I teach children's church. I'm good at word guessing games. I'm a janitor and I'm married. Okay. I do music. Something that's done say is my music. When you're like naturally gifted at something that you don't have to try, it just happens. Music is like that way with me. Music is that way with a lot of people, but music is that way with me. I started playing a euphonium, which is like a baby tuba. Tuba's huge. Euphonium's kind of, you can hold it in two hands pretty too, but you got to kind of, but euphonium, okay. Started playing the drums, and the teacher was like, I wasn't paying attention really, and I wasn't really banging because I was daydreaming, and I would just bang the sticks. The teacher goes, hey, Buzzer looks for me. I was like, Buzz? She was like, she's like, can you do it? I was like, I guess. She's like, you're going to go play baritone. So I did, because that's just what you do. Later, I told my mom, I was like, that's just what the teacher told me to do. But she wanted to play the drum. I'm going to fuss at the teacher. I was like, I don't know. She's like, what do you want to? I was like, sure, I'll try. Boom, instant success. I was like, I was like the best person just about in the entire band. Just came supernaturally, just came very natural. But I don't put that here because I don't do that anymore. I don't do music stuff anymore. I explore, I go run, and I go hiking and stuff. Sometimes I go to the big city and kind of get lost in the buildings. I do like to play video games still today. I do teach children's church. I'm a janitor. Don't do much music stuff anymore. This has been Very Basic BJ's Life. Okay, back to Very Basic Bible. Oh, hey, real quick. VBB for Very Basic Bible. All right. Okay. Now, I've talked about ritual, sacrifice, friendship. Okay, whatever. All right. In RSVP, if you offer it the sacrifice of well-being, or the peace, or fellowship, or here, friendship. Okay, if you offer that, you shall offer with the thank offering. You're offering it as thanksgiving. Remember, we're here. Suppose they offer a friendship offering to show they are thankful. If he offers the peace offering for a thanksgiving, okay. If he brings it near for thanksgiving, so okay. I'm not sure exactly. Does that mean you're thankful and you could bring it at other times for other reasons? So let me bring a peace offering for another reason. Maybe. I'm not sure here. But we're trying to talk about leaven. So let's keep going. Let's find the leaven. If you offer it for Thanksgiving, you shall offer with the thank offering unleavened cakes mixed with oil. Unleavened cakes. Unleavened wafers spread with oil, and cakes of choice flour well soaked in oil. So it's unleavened. With your Thanksgiving sacrifice of well-being. All right, what's it say? This is the ritual of the sacrifice of the offering of well-being. Okay, here we go. If you offer it for Thanksgiving, you shall offer it with unleavened cakes mixed with oil, unleavened wafers, and cakes of flour. That might be, or you might, you can offer one or all those. With your Thanksgiving sacrifice. So look up here. If you offer for, you shall offer with the thank offering, and then with your Thanksgiving sacrifice of well-being, you shall bring your offering of cakes of leavened bread. That's strange. From this you shall offer one cake from each offering as a gift, one cake from each offering as a gift to the Lord. It shall belong to the priest who dashes the blood of the offering of well-being, like if it's an animal. All right. If he brings it near for Thanksgiving, then along with the sacrifice of Thanksgiving, he shall bring near. Let's look at the wording. If he brings it, I'm going to look at the wording. If he brings it near for Thanksgiving, I wish there was no big space, but it's this one. Then along with the sacrifice of Thanksgiving, he shall bring near unleavened cakes mixed with bread, with the sacrifice of his peace offerings for Thanksgiving. He shall bring near his offering with cakes of leavened bread. Okay, New King James. If he offers it for a Thanksgiving, then he shall offer with the sacrifice of Thanksgiving unleavened cakes. Besides the cakes, So besides the unleavened cakes, as his offering, he shall offer leavened bread with the sacrifice of thanksgiving. So the New King James decides that, okay, but also, here, CPDV. If the oblation, because it's a Catholic Bible, if the sacrifice, if the offering will be an act for giving thanks. So here, this is the law of the big peace offerings. If it will be an act for giving thanks, they shall offer bread without leaven, and also leavened bread with the sacrifice of thanksgiving, which is immolated for peace offerings. These are weird words in this Catholic. Okay. Move my face. Suppose they offer a friendship offering to show that they are thankful. Then together with the thank offering, they must offer thick loaves of bread. They must make them without yeast. Thick loaves? Or they must offer thin loaves of bread made without yeast. Okay, they must make them without yeast. Okay. They must bring another fellowship offering along with their thank offering. It shall be with thick loaves of bread made with yeast. So wait. The NIRV seems to be saying they offer two offerings. They must bring another fellowship offering along with their thank offering. Let's go back over here. Let's go one more, actually. People can bring fellowship offerings to show their thanks to God. If you bring your sacrifice to give thanks, you should also bring bread made without yeast and all this other stuff. You must also bring loaves of bread made with yeast to go with your fellowship offering. The NIRV seems to think it's two offerings. This one, the ERV, seems to treat it as one offering. WB. If he offers it, wait, let me read this ERV again. People can bring fellowship offerings. Okay. This is the law for the sacrifice of fellowship offerings. Okay, people can bring fellowship offerings to show their thanks to God. If you bring your sacrifice to give thanks, you should also bring bread made without yeast, etc., etc. You must also bring loaves of bread made with yeast to go with your fellowship offering. Offer one each of the different kinds of bread as a gift to the Lord. One each of the different kinds of bread. So I think maybe either that's one cooked on the pan, one cooked on the griddle, one cooked regularly, and one with yeast. Or it's one without yeast, whether wafer, loaf, pan, griddle, and one with yeast. So one of each kind. Not very sure. I do remember. We're going to go get us a cheat sheet, okay? Bible Hub. Okay. NASB, accuracy you can trust. Let's look actually before we do. Look a little more at some other, BJ, come on now, you're going too much. I do not mean only a little information. I'm sorry. Rudimentary principle. Maybe I should say meticulous study. A simple yet meticulous way. I should add that. I should do that. Okay. A simple and sometimes meticulous way. There we go. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Commentary right there. Oh, wait, this is Leviticus 2. We want Leviticus 7, right? Wait, that's going to give me 2. Can I just get to Leviticus? No. Oh, hey. Now they switched to commentary right here. Oh, maybe that's been there the whole time. This little thing, this little bar. Leviticus 7. Go. Okay, it's 7, 13, and 12. All right. Try and find a. Okay. If the peace offering be for Thanksgiving, 3 kinds of cakes are to be brought with it. The difference between the first and the third is not clearly indicated. Sorry. On the consecration of Aaron and his sons, 3 kinds of cakes are ordered to be brought with the ram consecration. Really? The second and third of these are identical with the first and second of these here prescribed. This is shewn below in tabular form. Shewn. Okay, so we can see some, at least on this. I'm not going to look at all this stuff. Seems to be too much, but it's kind of neat that the offerings match. 3 kinds of bread, 3 kinds of bread, right? Don't go if you're a theology nerd, go, oh, the Trinity. Don't. I wouldn't think of that. Okay, that's just me at all. I would. Unleavened cakes mingled with oil. Unleavened wafers anointed with oil. Fine flour mixed in a cake oil. This has 1 loaf, but as it is further described, taken out of the basket of unleavened bread. Now, the 3 kinds of cakes are the same on both occasions, which seems probable and is a traditional interpretation. Okay, so it's one interpretation. It seems probable. C will be equivalent to 1. Okay. All right. 5, 6. Oh, this is 12. Now let's go see what the Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges says about Leviticus 7:13. With cakes of leavened bread. Okay. The cakes described in 7:12 form the oblation. 1 second, guys. Just so we're clear on exactly what a thing presented. Okay, right here. A thing presented or offered to God or a God. Okay, it's just an older word, I believe. So, what does the Bible say about oblation? Oblation, to act of me. Okay, I'm guessing it's an older. Oh, look at Latin from oblatio. Yep, Latin. That's why it's in the Catholic Bible. Latin. Catholics used to be all about Latin stuff. All right, here we go. So Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges might be a Latin, might be a Catholic Bible, might be a Catholic school and college. Cambridge, though. Cambridge, is it Latin? Is it Catholic? I don't know. Moving right along. The cakes described in Leviticus 7:12 form the oblation. Besides these, he is to bring leavened cakes, which are not intended for the altar, up in smoke. They're not intended to go up in smoke, but are similar in character to the offering mentioned in 11:12. According to Amos 4:5, leaven was brought with a Thanksgiving offering, and the 2 wave loaves offered at the Feast of Weeks were baked with leaven. If with in the passage is omitted, then okay, how would it be read? Okay, cakes of leavened bread shall he bring as his oblation, in addition to the sacrifice of his peace offering for in addition to, okay, his oblation will refer to the leavened cakes of Leviticus 7:13. Okay. Read another one. This sacrificial gift, the offerer was to present upon or along with cakes of leavened bread, round leaven, and to offer out 1 out of the whole oblation, namely 1 cake of 3 kinds mentioned as a heave offering. But I want an accurate, according to Leviticus 2:9, the accuracy of the unleavened pastry was burned upon the altar. Unleavened was burned, although not specifically mentioned here. Whereas none of the leavened bread cake was placed upon the altar. Okay, none leavened bread cake. Leavened bread cake. The reason why this got strange wording, if they're free commentaries on the internet, they're older. So that's why it's not always good to trust free commentaries, because they're a little older and they might have learned stuff nowadays, but they might have learned more since then. But for now, this is helping us get our mind around the way different people in the past have seen the verse, which is potentially confusing. No leaven, no leaven, no leaven. What? Why leaven? What the heck? This is helping us to kind of, there's like a net we're trying to get out of. We got to move as a tangle. We got a bunch of yarn that's all tangled up. We're trying to untangle it, and you got to untangle a little bit here, untangle a little bit there, untangle a little bit here. You know, if you bam, you drop a whole you drop in all these, I don't know, dominoes just go everywhere, all these sticks and all this marbles and you go, oh man, it just goes everywhere. You got to pick them up one at a time. You got to make sure your cat don't get to it if there's food. Hey, get out of here, cat. You got to look under the counters and under the pieces of clothing that might be on the floor. There's places where a carpet is up and a marble might have rolled under there. Okay. Then a few weeks later, I stepped on another thing that I dropped. That was from a few weeks ago. Yeah. You got to keep, look more and more. That's what we're doing here. They dropped a verse on us that went everywhere. We're trying to figure out, Jameson Fawcett Brown, 11 through 14. Okay. Oh, hey, look at this. For his offering, the leavened bread was a distinct offering. Okay. This is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings. So 11 through 14. So 11. Now this is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings. 12, 13 of leavened cake, bread, 14. There it is. Besides the usual accompaniments of other sacrifices, what is the usual? Unleavened cakes mixed with oil, unleavened wafers spread with oil, cakes of well-stirred fine flour mixed with oil, whether it's in a pan or a griddle, right? Oops. Besides the usual accompaniments of other sacrifices, leavened bread was offered with the peace offerings as a thanksgiving, such bread being common at feasts. That makes sense. It's common at feasts. Hey, let's eat at a feast. We're having a feast. Well, no, because they had feasts with unleavened bread too. Maybe by feasts here, they don't mean, here's one of 3 feasts, but they mean like, yay, happy days, let's have a feast time. You should have said parties if that's the case. Siesta. The old Garfield and Friends song. We're gonna eat lots of spaghetti, siesta. If you know Garfield and Friends from the, I don't know, 90s or something. Anyway, sorry guys. You're here for Bible, not for Garfield and Friends. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to call that good, except it talked about Amos. Let's go back here where we typed in Leaven. Is there an Amos right there? Okay, there's that Amos reference. Leviticus 23:17. Look at this. Baked with leaven as first fruits to the Lord. You shall bring from your places. Let's look at this real quick. 1 hour and 8 minutes is what my Zoom says. I think it's more like we've been talking about an hour. So wait. Control. Oh, wait. Let's just read. Okay. Now the Lord spoke again to Moses, saying, speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, the Lord appointed times, which you shall proclaim as holy convocations, my appointed times are these. All right. What are God's appointed times that Moses is going to tell the Israelites about? For 6 days, work may be done, but on the 7th day of the Sabbath, a complete rest, a holy convocation. You shall not do any work. It's the Sabbath day, Lord, in all your dwellings. Everywhere you're at, just rest. These are the appointed times of the Lord, holy convocations, which you shall proclaim at the times appointed for them. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, at twilight is the Lord's Passover. We read about that earlier, way back at the beginning, the first month, the 14th day of the month. Then on the 15th day of the same month, there's a feast of unleavened bread to the Lord. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no laborious work. But for 7 days you shall present an offering by fire to the Lord. On the 7th day is the holy convocation. You shall not do any laborious work. I'm glad we don't have to do all that anymore. Do no laborious work the first and the 7th day, but every day in between, offer sacrifices. Hey, make sure there's no leaven. You better do it just right, or else you're cut off. Woo, man, the Israelites in that day, that's how they functioned. God talked to them and the way they were. I'm glad God addresses me the way I am. I'm glad God meets us where we're at. So then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, when you enter the land which I'm going to give harvest, then you shall bring the sheaf of first fruits. He shall wave the sheaf before the Lord. Okay. Until this very day, until you are brought in the offering of your God, you shall eat neither bread nor roasted grain or new produce. It is to be permanent. Okay, so you give the sheaf of first fruits. You don't eat. Okay. You shall count for yourselves the days after the Sabbath. From the day when you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, there shall be 7 complete Sabbaths. Okay, so 7 complete Sabbaths later, you got another feast, I'm guessing. You shall count 50 days, because 7 times 7 is 49. Then on the 50th, you shall bring it from your dwelling place 2 loaves of bread as a wave offering, made 2/10 of ephah, baked with leaven. Okay, here we go. So you got the 7 on the 7th day, every 7th day. Don't do no work. On the first day of the year, the first of your month, you got the Passover. You wait a few, what is it? The first month, the 14th day of the month. For, you not only do no laborious works every 7th day, but you also do a whole week of feasting. A little while later, when you bring in the first fruits, you do some feasting. 50 days later, man, this is like feast time. It's like for us when you got Thanksgiving, then a little while later, Christmas, then New Year's. It's like all jam-packed in there, right? Now it starts at Halloween. So Halloween, Thanksgiving, it's like, that's kind of how this is here, right? 50 days, okay. There shall be 7 complete Sabbaths. You shall count 50 days to the day after the 7th Sabbath. 50 days to the days after the 7th Sabbath. So 7 Sabbaths, then 7 more because 50 days. Let's keep going. That's something to look at later. Then you shall present a new grain offering to the Lord. You shall bring in from your dwelling places now it hasn't told us if it's peace offering or if it's offered up in smoke or not. It hasn't told us that yet. This is a feast. You shall count 50 days. You shall present a new grain offering. Does that mean the raw ingredients, like the one that the priest would take a handful of? Or does that mean just you bring it straight out of the field, new grain, or does that mean you cook it? It's still new grain, but you cook it. Okay. You shall bring in from your dwelling places 2 loaves. A new grain offering to the Lord. If it's loaves and they have cooked it. 2 loaves of bread as a wave offering. A wave offering. So they're not burning it. The wave offering is when they don't burn it. Made of 2/10 of an ephah. They shall be of fine flour, baked with leaven as first fruits to the Lord. Okay. Oh, hey, look at this. Along with the bread, you shall present 7 one-year-old male lambs without defects, and a bull of the herd and 2 rams. I don't have any of that stuff. In Bible times, that was normal, not just for Israel, but everybody. All nations and cultures, including Israelites. And there's Ammonites, Amalekites, Canaanites, there's Egyptians, there were Babylonians, everybody in every place, all of them, cows, cattle, sheep. That was the norm. To us today, except for the very poorest of poorest people. Well, then they would normally be servants or slaves of those people. And hey, they got to work the field and then they got to eat the food. So they got to work with the cattle, they got to eat the food, they got to live in their house. Everything was good. Servants back then and slaves, it wasn't the same as we think of, black slavery in the American South. It wasn't exactly the same thing. So don't worry. So, I mean, God met those people where they were. Being a servant in that way was normal. So people liked it. They didn't necessarily get beaten up all the time. Having bread all the time, cooking your own bread, that was normal. Harvesting, having cows in your backyard, having so many that you could just, sacrifice, that was a normal thing. Every single person, no, they lived in large households, huge households, usually. They talked about tribes, then clans, then families. A family wasn't just like me, my 2 sisters, and my mom and dad And well, maybe if my grandma's sick, well, no, a family would be like cousins, aunts, grandmas, grandpa, tons of people. And how'd you get your food? You were a farmer. You had land. Everybody back then had land. Why? I mean, why do you think they keep saying this if it's the most normal thing? We think of this as like, oh, God took these people and just gave them these random commands. God took people and gave them commands of what they could do. He gave them command of what they, okay. We often today will give up stuff like, I'm going to give up TV. Oh, that seems so silly. Now, I agree it kind of is. You're giving up something fun rather than something necessary. But when people give up TV, they already have TV to give up. Okay. My wife would fast from food sometimes. She does. She's still alive. My wife fasts from food every once in a while. I admit I don't fast. My wife does sometimes though. She'll fast from food. At least food is something we always have. Does she fast from goats and lambs and grain from the field? No. She'll fast from stuff like, she'll fast from coffee. She'll fast some stuff like she'll just eat sandwiches with meat, and that's all. Just the bread and meat. She won't put like cheese and lettuce and all sorts of stuff on it. You know, because we already have that stuff that we can give up. God's not going, I want y'all, God's not going to lay commandments on us. I want y'all to fast these specific kind of foods that you don't have and you can't get. Like, God, we can't do that. We don't even have, we can't get, God is asking us to give up stuff we already have. This was normal to them. So. Kind of funny. People are like, what do those notes mean at the bottom of the video? People will see me typing in the notes. Okay. All right, guys. The next very basic Bible for leaven. This time, I'll actually try and get to. We got Deuteronomy. You shall not eat leavened bread with it for 7 days. You shall eat unleavened bread with it. That sounds like the Passover. Okay. I like it. For you came out of the land of Egypt in a hurry. That is. Okay. 16:3. 16:4 for 7 days, no leaven. Hosea 7:4. Like an oven heated by the baker who stops stoking the fire from the time the dough is kneaded until it is leavened. This is a really strange verse that I've heard people talk about. It's translated very differently in very different Bible translations, and nobody really knows what it means. See the added words, the fire, the time. That's because those words are added to try and make it make sense. That's why they're italicized. Okay. And this even has a capital W, which means that we would be referring to God. But they are all adulterers. God's not. They're adulterers like an oven heated by the baker. Who stopped stoking the fire? Who's the one who stopped stoking the fire? The baker stopped stoking. The baker is God. So God stopped stoking the fire. They're like adulterers. They're like an oven who God stopped stoking the fire so they don't rape. I mean, it's strange. People aren't sure what's being said here, to my knowledge. Now, there will be people who will say, no, I know exactly what it says. And then there will be Bible teachers who are more careful who will say, we're not sure what it says. When that case happens, you can rest assured that we're not sure what it says. Amos 4:5. An offering also from that which is leavened. So we might look at Amos 4:5 just to give us a little reminder, but then we'll go into the New Testament. Leaven in the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke. Look at that. Jesus talks about, so he, which is Jesus, was saying, what shall I compare the kingdom of God? That's Jesus, I promise. 1 Corinthians 5:6, 5:7, 5:8, 5. Oh, Galatians 5:9. That almost tricked me. So 1 Corinthians, Paul wrote the letter. He talks about leaven. Right here, gives a little, and that's it. We'll get into that, hopefully. When you get in the New Testament, you do, especially in the books of Paul, you start to get some theology. All right, guys, this has been your daily dose of a very basic about daily dose. I make like 2 or 3 videos a week. This week I made like 3 videos. Okay, one second. What's this little thing here? That's it's a picture. Somebody drew my wife. That is Princess Peach from Mario Brothers making a latte from Starbucks. There, what's that? I'm not sure. You can't see it. There's Bugs Bunny. We got all sorts of weird stuff. There's the rest of my house. It's all dirty. And I got all sorts of cat stuff and cats in my kitchen. I don't know. Okay, sorry guys. All right, now that you're thoroughly impressed with none of the stuff I have at all, period. She used to work at Starbucks. That's very fuzzy. So I know you can't see it. She does not anymore. She works at a place called Brookwood in Georgetown, which is a community for mentally handicapped adults. Not a community, I'm sorry. They're building a community where they can live. Right now, it's a workplace. They go, they do real work, they go on breaks, they get a paycheck, they interview, it's a job for mentally handicapped people. It's pretty cool. Adults, pretty cool, yeah. All right, guys, let's pray. Lord God, wonderful and awesome and mighty, thank you for being good to us. Even if we're like, but leaven is pointless. Thank you for helping us to learn to more easily read your Bible. Your revelation you have given to us. Thank you, Lord, for everything you do. Thank you, Jesus, for dying, for rising, for reigning. So awesome that you love us so much. Amen. See you guys on the next very basic Bible.